Hello horror fiends, welcome to the Horrorfest. A movie we finally watched, Orphan from 2009.
One of those that slipped under the radar again, don't know how, it's just...
Never heard of it until you actually mentioned it. Yes.
Yeah. It's a story about a couple. They've got a deaf daughter and a son, and they lost a kid before it was born.
Child was stillborn.
So they decide that they need to adopt a child.
That's basically the...
Or they kind of want to have a kid, but then they thought rather just adopt one who needs a home.
Yeah.
But there's trauma from the past, stuff that happened. The woman had a drinking issue.
Yes.
It's all these little factors.
I think what is nice about the film is there's a few things that come out as we go through the film.
Yeah.
So we realize that their situation prior was actually quite more complex than you would have imagined.
Yeah.
Which then plays into doubts and fears and yes.
So they end up going to this, it's kind of like a convent type.
Convent school, orphanage.
Orphanage with nuns running the show. And, kids running around, they have to kind of like look around and pick one, as it were. And then the husband walks upstairs and he hears someone singing, and there's this kid painting pictures. Sort of very advanced, interesting paintings, and he starts chatting with this kid.
There's instant connection, not chemistry, but they click.
Yeah, because it's not like your regular run-of-the-mill kid of that age.
And she doesn't run around with all the other little girls downstairs, sort of putting up a show to be picked. She sort of removes herself out of that.
Got sort of not Victorian clothing, but she dresses differently. She's originally from somewhere in Europe, Eastern Europe.
She comes across as a far more sophisticated child.
Yeah. So they decide, okay, well, they're going to adopt this kid. And they take her into their house, and you've got the kids that are sort of jealous.
Yes.
But obviously, seeing as we're reviewing this here, things don't go all that well because this kid is a bit intense.
Yes, and also there's already instantly there's sort of tension between the teenage. He's almost like a teenage boy.
Yeah.
And this adopted child, and
they don't get along at all.
Yeah, the little girl has a better. She's got like this very sort of big sister relationship with Esther. Esther's the child's name.
And the role of Esther is played by Isabel Fuhrman. And the mom is played by Vera Farmiga. You'll know her from
The Conjuring, Lorraine Warren.
Yeah, and she's also the mom to Norman Bates in the Bates Motel series.
That's right.
I haven't actually seen her in anything bad.
No, she's a good actress.
And the dad is played by Peter Sarsgaard.
That's right.
Downside for me, because he's a bit insipid.
He is very insipid.
And sort of like a mopey. There's just something about the character
the character is a labored character. It's a very long-suffering character.
Yeah.
And it comes across.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the movie's directed by Collet-Serra.
Yes.
I think that's how you pronounce it. He's Spanish director. Yes, after he did a Enrique Iglesias music video, he got the job to do the House of Wax remake.
That has Paris Hilton in it.
Yes. Everyone was rooting for Paris Hilton to get it, and she did get it. After Orphan, this was in 2009, the director moved on to done some Liam Neeson type movies like Unknown and Run All Night.
Yes.
And also The Shallows, that shark.
We still have to see
shark
that.
thriller. It's probably going to end up in our we haven't seen yet one list, and some Walking Dead episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's
He's
been
got
right.
some
And interestingly, this was actually produced by Leonardo DiCaprio
unbelievable.
with Joel Silver, who is known for big action stuff like Matrix, Lethal Weapon,
And if you're serious, you shouldn't tempt me, man.
Die Hard movies.
Welcome to the party, pal!
So it's an interesting bunch of people that came together to make this movie.
Yes.
Because it's not a very, it's a kind of a not low key, but it's dark.
It is dark, and it's very loosely based on a real
Actual
event, which we can't say anything about because it's very crucial to the
spoil it.
to the story.
It was written by David Leslie Johnson. He actually wrote the second and the third Conjuring movies.
Oh wow!
Mentioning that Vera Farmiga was in that. So I mean,
it's amazing how directors and actors stick together through different projects.
And from there also Wrath of the Titans and Aquaman.
Weird.
So 2009 Orphan.
Very diverse.
Yeah,
very diverse. Yeah.
With James Wan.
Yeah.
He co-wrote Aquaman with him.
My word.
And the new Aquaman they're also doing, which the two of them co-wrote with Jason Momoa, who is Aquaman.
But wasn't James Wan also?
No, James Wan produced the Conjuring. Directed
yes.
I think he directed the first one.
Yes, he did. He did.
So it's hey.
It's
who you know.
It's an incestuous bunch.
No, it's just if you meet people that you work well with.
Yes.
And if you do things together that work, and hey, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
But to get back to the story of Orphan, before we get sidetracked with all the links and connections. So this kid is a bit intense. A kid that was bullying her in school pushes this kid off.
She's an aggressive little girl.
Yeah,
yes.
and then so she's manipulative and she's quite calculating, and the kids kind of spot this, and the dad wants to give her the benefit of the doubt because she had not a very good childhood, they would imagine, growing up in orphanages, and people always pick the younger kids, and she's just been there forever. But then the mom also starts suspecting stuff is not quite right.
There's a few things triggering things.
Yeah. And obviously things turn deadly and dangerous. So it's a very interesting drama.
Yes, and it's unexpected. The whole twist of the story is a very unexpected one.
Yeah.
And it's almost crucial that you don't, if you've not seen this film, don't read up about it, don't watch trailers.
That's the problem. Unfortunately, I read something on a group and someone gave it away.
Yes.
That was a bit
and I think
because it spoiled, because from the get-go when I watched the movie, if you know that, it's not the same.
It definitely is. It's very easy to spoil the plot of this film. It's like Sixth Sense. It's easy to spoil.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we will not be doing that.
No.
Unless you want us to. Tell us in the comments if you want us to spoil everything. But personally, I don't like knowing too much. As I've mentioned before, I don't even like to read stuff up on movies beforehand. If it looks like something you'd want to watch, then you do it. If it's got people involved that you know are good, and even if it's unknowns but the story seems interesting.
Yes.
I am the fury fire.
Sometimes even it's a cool poster. Like we used to, if you go to the video store in the 80s, it's got a good cover.
Yeah, it was enough.
That's enough. Obviously, most of the time it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't very good, but you enjoyed it back then. If you had to watch it now, you'd go, "Oh Lord, I wasted 90 minutes of my life for that."
And 10 rand or 5 rand.
5 rand, 10 rand. How much was it? We used to rent for. You get a VHS machine.
Yes.
Two movies and a short. I think it was like 10 to 15 rand or something.
Yeah.
We'll put the calculations down there, what it was back then and what it is now. So then you'd get 2 movies in the video machine, and you'd usually, as a short, it was Benny Hill.
Yes.
Or Looney Tunes collections.
Definitely.
You're despicable.
Benny Hill was big in our
Sometimes
house,
they were Kenny Everett. Man. Okay. So sidetrack.
Yeah.
Now, but then you'd walk into the video store, you go over the shelf, but then it's also not a case of like Blockbuster, they've got 10 copies of each movie.
No.
One movie, one copy.
If you weren't in time for that movie,
but you book it.
That's right.
Friday, you book the movie, and then
Yes.
sometimes you get there, and then the previous guys, they haven't brought it back yet.
Now,
Ooh,
what was good?
They get called up, bring back the movie.
My best friend at school, the one that always watched the Friday night horror movies with me, they were family friends with the
Video store.
people.
Okay.
So we had first VIP.
And people might find it weird, like rent a machine, but I mean, hey, those machines were expensive.
Yeah.
And eventually we got a Betamax machine.
Yeah, we also got a Betamax.
Oh no! Data!
But before that, then you had to actually rent the machine and the movies.
And you'd have to carry that whole heavy thing, and it was a big thing. And
Yeah.
it was in like a wooden box.
No, well, the ones we had, our store had like this sort of padded black zip bag.
No, our one was in a bloody wooden box with a handle.
Okay.
And that you carried, and the cord was like rolled up inside.
Back then you could like rent Atari games as well.
Which my dad did for us over, like used to do.
Like a period, not
Like a
just
period, yes, yeah.
Summer
Atari
holidays,
and
sit
games.
and play Space
Normally
Invaders.
winter holidays. My sister wanted the one night in school, June holidays, so it was winter holidays. We were going to watch the Temple of Doom in the Rialto, the big cinema in our little dorpie, in our little town. And my sister wanted to play Atari.
Instead.
Because it was one of the last days we had the Atari.
Okay, yes, it did.
And then I think my mom had to stay home because Sissy didn't want to go to, if I remember correctly. And then myself and my friend Adele, we went with my dad and went to watch Temple of Doom. And I think we were too young to watch it.
Now the bug scene freaked you
Oh,
out.
it freaked us both out. My dad had to carry both of us out of that cinema. Yeah, it was so funny. Okay, major segue.
Back to Orphan. Oh man, segues, discussions lead to other
Segues
things.
are us.
Yes, but you know that's how we like to discuss things. If you talk to your friends about a movie, something comes up, you're not going to go, oh no, let's stick to the subject. So, okay. Well, Orphan, it's a dark drama.
Yes.
With some family dynamics. It's not too sappy, not too soppy, although the dad can be a bit sappy, soppy. There's just something about
No, he's
Sarsgaard's
LSD.
role. He's like,
Alice, the long-suffering daddy.
he's, to me, he was the low point. There's some violence that would be a bit shocking for in a child situation. Like you have these movies. What was it? The Bad Seed. That was one of the first movies with like a bad kid, or like RoboCop 2 with that little kid who was like this little drug lord kingpin. So when you put children in a,
It's always shocking when a child is put like that kind of a character.
or like those kids in David Cronenberg's The Brood,
Yes.
like these little murderous
Hectic,
kids.
hectic.
It's, so anyway,
Yeah.
So you've got a scenario where you have a kid that is probably a bit disturbed, definitely,
And
leading to some hectic situations. But score-wise, it's difficult for me to know now if I'm scoring this, keeping in mind
yes.
that some stuff was given away by some ass on a on a group. But for me, I think 6 is a fair score.
Yes, I'm also going to go with a 6.
Also 6.
Yes.
We're matching it up with an average 6.
Yes.
So I'm interested to see what they do with the sequel. I mean the prequel.
Very interested, actually.
One interesting thing, there's a kind of the movie starts with, I think it's the Warner Brothers logo, but it looks like sort of paint splattered on it with black light. It's sort of,
Yeah, it's a question mark.
but
then
later in the movie it actually comes out.
it makes sense. It was that was quite interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I remember it, but I didn't make the connection.
It's like, what's this like? About a rave or something? What's going Okay,
Yes.
Orphan, it's well worth watching.
Definitely.
Unless someone's given away the whole plot outcome.
And as I said before, don't read up about it. Just watch it. It's on Netflix.
Yeah. But then again, one more thing about Netflix. You know, these streaming services are very convenient. You watch stuff, but then they don't exactly warn you when these things will be leaving Netflix again.
That's
it's not there
right.
permanently.
No.
Obviously, the Netflix productions
will stay.
It's there forever.
Yes.
But then if they get the license to screen a movie, they don't tell you for how long. So I've had the case where there were a few, it was David Cronenberg's Dangerous Method. It was on Netflix. Oh cool, I'm going to watch that at some stage. Go looking for it, it's gone. One day I scrolled through, I saw, which I've never seen, American Graffiti. George Lucas's first or second movie, one of his very early movies. I said, oh cool, I'll watch that at some stage. Go back, gone. Is it The Interview with Seth Rogen? Yes, I think Jonah Hill and Seth Rogen when they do the interview with Kim Jong Il, or which
one of them.
One of the Kim Jongs, and that disappeared as well.
I'm sorry, I didn't see that one.
So it's a bit annoying.
Yeah, maybe
because they want, but what they want, if it comes on, you must watch it now. It's like
you're under pressure to watch.
Like Guillermo del Toro said in Clapboard Jungle documentary that we screened at the Horrorfest. I think they call it. It's like the tube. The shit gets. It's literally like this tube that gets fed into.
Oh no, definitely.
It's not like you release this movie and it means something. It's just content. Go.
Get the next one going. Get that. That's why things like Ratchet and American Gods and something like The Terror. These things really stand out for its quality and it doesn't feel like this mass-produced.
Yeah. If you want to watch American Gods, we'll put a link down for Prime, Amazon Prime. You get like a period of like a free trial period.
Yeah.
So you can actually pack in quite a couple of cool.
And there's amazing things on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, this one, Orphan, we saw on Netflix. Don't know how long it'll be there for, so if you have it, just check it out sooner rather than later.
Yes.
But also, you've got Prime option.
Yeah.
Tubi option is free, obviously.
Yes.
But stuff disappears off there as well.
Yes.
Like
Opera.
Dario Argento's Opera, which I've never seen. Just sitting there, and then the day I want to go watch it, it's gone.
But we're segueing again.
That's what we do. That's what we do. If you don't like it, I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, when we finally watched something, it reminds us of the other things that we still need to see. So.
And it's actually cool that there are still lots of things that we need to see. Because when it comes to saturation point, you've seen everything, and you've seen all the good stuff. Now what?
Yeah, it's like my Tom Waits CD that I don't want to listen to because I want to savor it. Yes, but I guess I should listen to it.
No, you should. Okay, guys.
Cheers.
Enjoy. Watch more movies. Let us know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe. The usual.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.